Today, we are going to talk about my trip to New York with my parents. I've been wanting to do this for so long, but like I've told you in several other videos, right before, I would say a couple weeks before we went, I was asked by Aritzia to do a collaboration with them on their big 5-day sale that's going on. I think it's going on right now. I know it is for the clientele, and then it goes public. And so they were nice enough to let me pick whatever I wanted. And then they sent me like 12 pieces. And it was just so wonderful and magnificent. And my parents and I had just talked about going to New York and had just started planning it. So I thought, oh, this will be so cool. I'll just take this stuff, not really thinking about the fact that I had to come home, film an additional video, get it approved, all of that stuff. So it really doesn't matter. I guess the main thing is you're going to see outfits that if you've watched that Aritzia video that you have seen before, and then you'll see in our timeline that I bought things my mom and I did twice while I was there. So the way this came about is I think it was after the last time I went to, gosh, it wasn't that long ago. So it was right after I came back from my trip to Los Angeles. And then before that, I had just been to New York. And then before that, I had just been to Florida. And so I always go over to my parents, like I will today on Sunday, and I sit there and I tell them play by play, everything I did, everything I ate, just like I tell you guys. And then my dad looked over and he said, I'd love to go to New York. Well, my parents used to go to New York all the time. My grandfather, my dad's dad, grew up in New York, and the only reason he was here and met my grandmother was because of the military. So my dad was used to traveling to New York and going into the city. That was the first time he ever had pizza. And I grew up with a northern grandfather. And so, I'm very used to the accent. I think that's a lot of why I'm drawn to it. And my dad has always loved it. So I think it's just in my blood. And my mom and dad used to go a lot, especially when they were doing dog shows. They used to raise and show giant schnauzers and standard schnauzers, not the miniature. And so they used to go a lot when I was in like my 20s and 30s, I guess. Yeah, before the shutdown and before things got crazy. So, yeah, COVID. I think it's been like 15 years or so since they had been. So when he said that, I just looked over at him and I said, I'll take you. And he said, you will? And I said, yes, let's go. So anyway, here we go. We decided to go, just the three of us. And my brother and my niece, and then friends of my parents took care of their animals because not only do they have a dog and a cat, but they have 3 big birds and big talking birds, and just take care of the house and all of that stuff. And then, John does not like New York. He does not want to go. I know that everybody, every time I do a video like this, and even when I go to New York, people always want to know, where's John? Where's Brooke? They don't want to go. And if you know anything about me, I do not like convincing energy. I don't like to do it here on my channel. I don't like to do it in my life. If I know somebody doesn't want to do something, I'm not going to convince them to do it. And I just don't want that for them. I only want people to do things they want to do. The only thing I'm going to teach you and convince you to do is stay true to yourself. That is the one thing I would love to convince you to do. Okay, so let's get down to we left on a Monday morning early, November 3rd. Here I am at 4:09 in the morning, and we did that wonderful flight that I always do where it's first thing in the morning. That way you get to New York, it's like 8:30. It's a straight flight, about an hour, wonderful, and you have that whole day. It's almost like you got to cheat and not have to pay for the hotel for the night before. So I have on, I'm gonna go through this again just in case you didn't see my Aritzia video, but I have on the Lodge pants in the brown check. I love these so much. They actually have a drawstring waist that makes them so comfortable, but they still look really, really sharp. This is the only coat, which is cashmere wool blend and the brushed cashmere sweater. And something you're going to see, and I've got them right here to show you, these boots. Okay, these are my Quince Western cowboy boots. I'm not sure how they put them on the website, but they're 100% leather, Italian leather boots. There is something magical about these boots. They're so comfortable. They're just so comfortable. And so I wore these, I would say, half of the trip. These are my go-to airport shoes and shoes to wear shopping and walking in the wintertime. So then another thing I wanted to remind you of is this Gucci tote. Probably, is it my favorite bag ever? If I had to add up the categories of price, the look of it, the functionality, the comfort, the weight, it going with all different styles, I think it might be my favorite bag ever. And they have a blue suede one that I'll show you in a little bit that we actually saw at the Gucci store. And I do have the traditional one, and I do love that one. I think that one is probably going to work better for me in the spring and summer. This is probably going to work better for me in the fall and winter. But I absolutely love it. And then it also comes in a denim and a smaller size, but it just couldn't be better. That is the only bag I took. So here we are at the airport, John dropping us off. I took my pink base large, and then I have a cheap pink one that I don't even know. I think I got it at Marshall's or something years ago. And let's see, I have to say too, just because my hair is just an issue for me because I'm letting it grow out, today I followed another person's advice and I like it okay. It's a little too fuzzy for me. But that's okay. I'm trying different things because I want to appreciate it as at each length while it grows out. But I will say that right before I went on this vacation with my parents, I discovered a magic hair combo. And I loved my hair the whole time. And I have been trying different things since I got back, but matter of fact, there's 3 hair combos that I'm going to tell you about that I have not been able to beat. This is one of them. So one bad thing about the getting dropped off at the airport these days is our airport is getting worked on. It's growing like crazy, and we have to still walk up that huge ramp and get in the airport. It was crowded that morning, but I was hoping, that someone would help us with all of our luggage. But my parents just took my Quince large luggage. And because my dad, I don't think I've told you guys this. I have some of you. I think I mentioned it on my membership years ago or a year ago, but not last summer, but the summer before. My dad had a 5-way bypass. So between that and his knees that have just about given up, my dad has worked all of his life, all of his life. He just retired, literally. He just retired. And so I was trying to find every way I could to take it easy on his knees. And it was not easy. Going to New York is just not a thing for the weak, but he is not weak. He hung in there like a champ the whole time, but I was trying to. Okay, my parents are not into photos. My family is not into photos. I did not grow up in a family that always had a camera out. That's just the way it was. So, and then my parents, you guys know, are not big. They're not on social media. They're not into stuff like that. They're just not. But I did get permission to show you a few of the pictures that I took because I wanted to kind of remember these moments. So I've already cleared it with them. So this is my mom's airport outfit. She's over here getting her coffee. She looked so good the whole time. My mom is beautiful. She had on her black Hokas. She had on, I think this was a Lululemon outfit that my sister-in-law got her for Christmas. And then I think this was a little jacket of some sort that she had. And she had just purchased this really nice. I'm going to link this down below because I think a lot of you would like this. It's kind of like my Luca duffel, but I think better. It's an Adidas puffer tote. And that really worked out well. So here's her shoes and her tote. Here's my shoes and my coat. My coat is the dark night navy. I love it. I was so glad I chose that. I chose that over black, and I'm so glad I did, with the brown pants. And then here's my dad with his Bombas socks, his on cloud sneakers. And my mom, you can see the bamboo handles. She took her Gucci Diana bag with her. So here we are on the plane. We sat in first class. And I don't know, I have to ask them if that's ever the first time they ever sat in first class. I think my dad has before because he's traveled a little bit more, like with business and stuff, than my mom. Okay, here is a picture I took like upside down in the plane of the coat that I wore on the plane. One of the main reasons I wore that on the plane is because I thought, oh, it's going to take up so much room in my suitcase. It might be too bulky, but it's just this one little flight. It was not bulky at all. And I think it's because it's the blend of the cashmere and the wool. Instead of just the wool, it just is snuggly, soft, everything. So, okay, 47 degrees in New York. Let's see what time this was. 6:40, and it was 56 and raining in Wilmington. So I just took so many pictures of my parents just sitting there just so I could remember this whole flight and this whole time. The sky was beautiful. The clouds were beautiful. And so here we are coming into New York. My mom took a picture of me in the classic New York sign. And then we went, just like I always do, and went and got a cab. Okay, since my parents haven't been to New York in, I don't know if it's been, I think it was either 15 or 17 years. Of course, a lot has changed. But I wanted to kind of create an experience for them that was old school, that was classic, quintessential New York, and just do exactly what they wanted to do at all times. And I wanted it to be the most like it was. So, of course, taking a taxi is that way. My parents are not Uber users. I mean, I live in a town that you don't do that unless you're going out drinking or anything anyway. So we were going through Astoria. It was 53 degrees. So I will have to say that the weather was beautiful the whole time. Just that is the perfect amount of cold for me. I like it even colder when I'm prepared. And I can't wait. I can't wait to go back probably in January when it's really cold. I love it. So my dad, every time we took a cab or an Uber, he sat in the front, and he's the type that enjoys talking to people. So that was, a good experience. And then, okay, here we are at the hotel. Now, the hotel that we stayed in I got the name of it from my friend Kelly with Mommy's Makeup and Moscato, because I wanted to stay not in SoHo. I wanted to stay near places that they would want to go. And so we stayed at the Marriott Marquis right in the middle of Times Square. My parents had the 38th floor Times Square view. I think I was on the 28th floor Times Square view. And not only was it just super cool, being there, but it was a different experience for me because I think every time I've ever gone there, I've either stayed in SoHo or Greenwich Village, Tribeca. The very first time I went to New York with my friend Sheila, we actually stayed in Great Neck, New Jersey at a friend of hers' house. And then we just had to commute in. Not my favorite, but it was a good experience. It was kind of a cool experience to see how people live, because in the mornings when we would walk to the train, just to see everyone walking up those snowy, icy roads going to work. And it made me think about what people go through just to get to work, where I'm so spoiled here, I'm cranking the car, heating the seats before I ever even go out the door. And so it was a good appreciation, that whole experience. So we checked into the hotel, and check-in time wasn't until 4. But if you're real sweet and you upgrade your rooms and you do all the things, they will let you in, because my plan was just to upgrade my parents' room to high up Times Square. I didn't really care where I was, but in order to be able to check in when they checked in at let's see what time this was, 10:39, then I had to upgrade too, which was fine, no big deal. But I upgraded theirs to a king bed, and I like the 2 double beds because, like I always tell you, I like spreading my stuff out. It's even better to me than having a big closet or whatever. So here is the room. I will have to say the biggest, most quietest room I have ever stayed in New York. For it to have been at Times Square, it was so quiet. Not only was it quiet as far as like the outside noise coming in, even I guess because it's such a huge hotel, huge. Like I already knew it had a Sephora. My mom loves Starbucks. We knew Junior's Cheesecake was across the street. It was just a lot of things that we already knew were right there. And I knew it would be a good hotel to just get out and walk and just not have to walk very far to be in the thick of it. But even just noise like outside the hallway, there was none. It was, I have to say, two thumbs up on the hotel. If you don't mind, the whole elevator system was a little bit chaotic just because it's such a big hotel. It reminded me of staying in a hotel in Vegas, but very nice. Okay, so we got settled. Here's my view. I really did. I really, really did like the Times Square view. It was very, very New York. It reminded me of, New Year's Eve, all those things. And I have been to Times Square a couple of times. So it's not like I had never been, but it was really cool to be there and to wake up there and to see it at night, all of the things. Okay, so here are my clothes, all from Aritzia, out on the bed. And I changed clothes, and then here's some more hanging in the closet. So I also took the faux fur. So good, so good. They have it in full length and a lot of other colors. I took my Vogue oversized blazer. Okay, so I switched to, I think these are the Collins pants. I will put every outfit down below. This beautiful, beautiful pink cashmere sweater. Just, I felt so like feminine and bunny soft, and I love it. I loved this the whole time. And I did put on hold on, this is the value I feel like I can bring to you during these videos, is because if you're like me, you want to be stylish, you want to have a good time, you want to wear your boots, but you're not willing to hurt your feet over it. These, you guys, these boots, any color. I have the more burgundy ones, these black ones, they're Saint Laurent. They've got the cool thing on the Saint Laurent heel. You can see it's a good thing I love things that look worn in. They just get better and better. I mean, they're so soft, amazing, along with the Quince cashmere socks. And, I've talked about this on my channel before about don't be afraid to dress for your fantasy self. Use your life and a lot of times your fashion as almost like a vision board. And I remember when I first got those cashmere socks, I was like, oh my gosh. And I've told you guys so many times I love cashmere. If I had it my way, I would wear nothing but cashmere. So along the way, I have acquired, I think, 3 pairs now of cashmere socks. I ordered 3 more this morning, and I think I'm going to start wearing those instead of my barefoot dreams. So here I go, manifesting, wearing nothing but cashmere socks. And that's how I feel about everything. I have always looked forward to and dreamed about and dressed for and acted as and made decisions for my future dream self. And all of our future dream selves are going to be different. The beauty of it when you get to be our age, or, like when you're at the age where your children are older and it's time for you to kind of be able to think about yourself for a little bit more, the good thing is you know what you like and you know what's important to you, and you're not as caught up in what other people think. And that is the beauty of it. It's like it's perfect timing. I would not trade being a mom in those little kitty years with my station wagon and all of that. I would not trade it for anything, for anything. That was my dream. That was my future self that I worked for, I dressed for, I made decisions for before that happened. So I've always created the life that I want to live. And there's just such a beauty in that. So don't just, I don't know, this is another thing with convincing energy. Do what feels good to you, but don't let anyone make you feel bad for dressing for the life that you want to live. Because I have many, many coats that I will not get to wear here, but there will be an opportunity for me to wear them because I'm gonna make that happen. So, there you go. There's my little spiel on that. Okay, so when we were planning our trip, I thought, I don't want to dominate this trip. This is me taking them to New York to do whatever they want to do. I don't care what it is. But because I'm their daughter and I tell them everything and they like to know things that I like to do too, one of the things they wanted to do was to go to Bergdorf and they wanted to meet Maria. And my mom wanted to look at the Goyard bags because she has two. I bought her one, my daddy bought her one, but they're harder to get, harder to see. You can't just go anywhere and see them. And so I made an arrangement with Maria. We met her there. So here's the elevator that when we were in the hotel, you can see it was kind of like a clear cylinder. It was really cool. So we headed out to Bergdorf and we met Maria downstairs. Here we are in the shoe department. And my parents, you'll see, they like fashion. They always have. I will say, growing up, getting dressed up and looking good for the thing, getting dressed up for church, getting dressed up for this, getting dressed up to go to a nice lunch with my grandparents. It was a thing. Like, it wasn't like a bad thing, but I was used to my parents looking good. I was used to getting ready for church, my dad buffing his shoes and shining them up, my mom walking around with the curlers in her hair, in her slip, the smelling of the perfume and the cologne. Like, that is part of who I am. So we went up and looked at the shoes. And then I got my mom to take some pictures because I knew every outfit I wanted to get a good picture of for my Aritzia collab and for this video. So here we are sitting at the table in Bergdorf, and it reminds me so much of a restaurant we used to eat at when I was a kid. It's the Blockade Runner down at the beach, and very similar with the white tablecloths, just simple elegance, like nothing over the top, the piano player in the background. That's how it was when I was little. But even the music that plays at Bergdorf, it's all part of the whole vibe. So let's see. This is what we got to eat. My mom got a chopped salad. My dad got soup. I gave them my sides. Typically, I don't eat my sides. I always get steak and shrimp, but they were able to eat my sides. And we had a great lunch. Maria sent us a dessert. I think it was like a no-bake chocolate cheesecake or something like that. And then here we are in the Chanel section, and I'm showing you my outfit. Maria was showing me several Chanel bags. And then I didn't take pictures there, but we took the bag that my mom chose at Goyard and we took it over to the Chanel section. And here I am taking pictures of it. And she is deciding, which my dad had already decided she was getting it. And then this little bag, this little navy blue Chanel bag. I can't remember what these are called. I don't have one, and I do love this, but I did not get a Chanel bag. At this point, my mind wasn't really on shopping, believe it or not. Like, I knew I might get something if I saw it, but I was there to be with them. And so I was super happy that my mom got a handbag. Okay, so then we walked down to the Gucci store. Here is this bag, but in the blue suede. Okay, this bag was not for sale. It was only for show. They had just added it to the website. And it's still, even though it's suede, it's still in the 2000s. It's right up there. Instead of being like $22.50 like the other ones are, I think it's like $28.50. But still, you guys, so worth it. If I didn't already have two, I would get this one. And I'm really kind of glad this one wasn't for sale because I probably could have talked myself into it. And then we went upstairs, my mom and I did. My dad is really good. He's a good shopper. And I told him, I said, Daddy, you were a good shopper because he likes people like I do. He likes to talk. He likes to look around and people watch. And so what he would do is what all men do usually is find a chair and sit down. And then he did not rush us, not one bit at all. And so my mom and I would just go walk around and we'd come back. And 9 times out of 10, he had made a friend and was talking to someone. So we went upstairs. Look at these little fuzzy Gucci slides. You know I want those. But it would be hard to wear those. And then this, the Gucci. I just love the chains on the Gucci bags. And yeah, it was a suede Dionysus. And then here we are. We went back to the hotel. I'm walking down this long hallway, and we were pretty much up for the night. It had been a long day. It was 4:03. So what I did is I switched into those little silky pants that I got from Aritzia that are very comfortable. I put on where are they? Hold on, I'll get them for you. I've been waiting to wear these. Remember these? These are the Dolce& Gabbana Havaiana collaboration. And the very, very fuzzy, cool top. So I just put these on because that was when the Sephora sale was going on. And I did not place an order online because I thought I can just go down to Sephora. I knew it was right at the base of the hotel, and I can shop there while my parents are in the room. And I'd already told them to order whatever they wanted from room service. And so I went down there and I did some shopping. So here I am. Oh, yes, and I had seen a McDonald's across the street. So I went over to McDonald's and got a large Diet Coke, stood there in the window and watched. It's a different people watching at Times Square than it is in Soho. So I sat there and watched people go by. And then I went to one of those little trucks and got my Diet Cokes for the hotel room. Nathan's. There he is smiling. Oh, he's doing like this. And so I walked around and I didn't go past. That's the cool thing about being in that location and being at that hotel is I could go out one door, walk around the building, feel safe the whole time. Then I went to Sephora and then I just came out and went right back in. So here is the Sephora. You go in and then go down the escalator. It was probably one of the nicest Sephoras I've ever been to as far as having everything. Now, a lot of stuff was out of stock at this time, but even when I went back a couple of nights later, they were in stock. So here I am taking a picture, and this guy's in the background with me. And I had a couple of requests for my niece that I picked up for her. And then here I am looking at what counter is this that I'm at? The Charlotte Tilbury. That's when I wanted to get the bronzer in number 3. And I had one of the nice girls take pictures of me with my outfit. And okay, so back at the hotel room, and here's a picture of my hotel room. I was hungry because I did not eat anything but that little bit of stuff at Bergdorf. So I ordered a pizza from room service and just ate the top off of it. And you guys, it was so good. It was so good. Here's my haul that I got that night. And I loved, like getting in my bed, getting my jammies on. I took a shower every single night I was there and using my hair combo I had just discovered. And, looking at all my new stuff. It was just fun. I love traveling. Okay, this is the eye palette. This is one of my favorite things I got from, what is his name? Patrick Ta. I think it's Patrick Ta. So here I am in the morning getting ready, using it. And then my outfit of the day, the next day, this is the extra thing that I took, is the Arlo jeans that I bought, months ago from Aritzia, their Denim Forum. I think it's their brand. My YSL boots and that blouse. I can't remember the name of it right now. You guys, that blouse is just beautiful. It's so cool girl. It's classy girl. It's chic. It's sexy. It's easy to layer with. It's just perfect. And then I decided to add, I wanted you to see, I'm posing all these poses because I want you to see how the little ruffle in the sleeves go up. When I was in my, I would say 30s, when my kids were small, that was kind of like a go-to outfit for me, would be a dressy blouse with jeans and usually a long necklace with a pendant. That was just a go-to. So, and then I wore it's in my closet, my Dior hat that I bought with John when we were in Florida. Love it. And it's the coat from Aritzia. It's the short one. And it's also cashmere and wool. I'm forgetting the name right now. The Dove coat. And it is, did I also say it was cashmere and wool? And oh my gosh, this outfit, I loved it. I loved it all day. My dad loved it. My mom loved it. Okay, so This was the first morning that we were there. So we headed off to the Crosby to eat breakfast. Yes, the hotel had a breakfast buffet, but we wanted every moment to be special when we were there. And I wanted them to see the Crosby, where I love to stay. I feel like it's my home away from home. And I wanted them to have that breakfast because I have eaten at all the hotels. I've eaten at the restaurants with the duck bacon. I've gone to the Baltazar that didn't hold a candle. I wanted to go for myself to have a good meal, guaranteed, and for my parents. And I just love the atmosphere there. They loved it. I think it was one of my dad's and my mom's favorite parts. So here they are up at the little, like, we each ordered something for breakfast, but you can go up and have like fruit and bran and pastries. Matter of fact, I think they get their breads from Baltazar down the street. And you can see my dad's got his skimmer hat on and his on cloud, and my mom's got her jeans on and her little hokas. And here's her bag. The first morning we had a really good seat because we were early. It was 8:11 when we got there. Then here we are. I wanted to take a picture of that blouse so you could really see it. See it with the covered buttons, the nice little collar. Oh, so good. So here's what we all got for breakfast, and they loved it. And then my dad had a really good time talking to one of my favorite waiters that waits on me every time I'm there. And one thing that my dad wanted to do was go to the Diamond District. He has a Rolex. It's the one that's solid gold, like the presidential, and he was maybe interested in trading it for a bigger one or just to see what was out there. My parents like jewelry and watches too. So he talked to that guy about watches and where to go and all of this stuff. Here we are down in the bathroom, and I was getting outfit pictures. Loved my makeup the whole time I was there. Good old Maybelline serum like I have on right now. And then here we are walking out in SoHo. Well, I had not really planned on doing that because I didn't know if my parents would want to do that, but they did. And when you're right there at the Crosby, you're like right there. You're right there at Green Street, Spring Street, Prince. You're just right there. So it was real easy. So here my mom is taking the video for me for my outfit. It's 9:27 and we're already out. And then we go and we realize that most places are not open. Like my mom wanted to go to Uniqlo because she had seen these jackets there or something, and they weren't open till 11. I was thinking most places were open at 10. So we just like walked down the street and we walked right back up and we went and sat down in Baltazar and had another cup of coffee. My parents love coffee. And we just sat there until it was time to go walk again. We walked next door to the part of Baltazar that sells like the pastries and stuff. And I just think they're so pretty. And they just are so New York. You know how I love things like that. So we left there looking at all the pastries. We did not get anything. My parents are pretty healthy eaters too. They eat what they want, but they don't eat a lot of junk. And they know how it makes them feel, and we all wanted to feel good. So we didn't get anything. We just admired it. We walked back down, and Uniqlo was not open, but we walked down further, and Aritzia was. Aritzia was open at 10, and we proceeded to shop. So here we are in Aritzia. They had a perfect little place for my dad to sit and talk to whoever else was sitting in that little area. And these I saw when I first walked in, and I honestly couldn't believe they had my size. And here they are. They are the Aritzia Nike collaboration, and they are just cool, vibey, chic, sporty. I think they click all of my boxes. I'm not really sporty, but this is as sporty as I get. Pair of sneakers. I had not taken a pair of sneakers with me because I think that morning I put my foot into those Adidas Sambas and just thought, oh, hell no. They just did not feel comfortable to me. I don't know what it is. I'm going to maybe try them again, but I did not take them with me. So these I got in the 8.5, and they are super cool. And then, I was taking a picture of that long. I wanted to show you that the short fur is available in the long. All the colors are available in the long, and the shoes are right there too. This is when we first walked in. And then we shopped. My mom and I both got that coat what is it called? It's the one that doesn't have a lot of structure that I showed you in my Friday video. And then I bought lots of stuff. And I can't even remember. I've shown you everything, but we went there twice, so I can't remember exactly what I bought at each time. And she got the coat, and she did get a hat. She got one of they have the nicest, I've got a black one. They've got really good wool baseball caps there. And then here we are. We got in a taxi. Here we are driving back. There were some places that were decorating for Christmas. And then here we are. We went back to our hotel room. You know, I laid down for a little bit. They laid down for a little bit. They loved their bed. Like they said, they've got a sleep number. And they said that their mattress, their bedding, everything was phenomenal. So just if you're looking for a place to go, we were really happy with the Marriott Marquis. And so here I changed clothes. Oh, I know what we were doing. We were going to go back out to the Diamond District. So I put on the light blue, baby blue cashmere sweater, the little pants that have they're flat front and they have a flare. I've got on my Quince boots, and we headed out. So I think we got a cab over there. Oh, and I got on the Vogue blazer. And it was 60 degrees in Times Square. So I remember being hot. Here's the hotel. So here we are arriving at the Diamond District. And wow, that is so cool how you can just go a few blocks over and your entire scenery change from the stores to the people to the cars. It was wild. And my mom and I, we kind of felt like we were dragging my dad down because, here he is wanting to wheel and deal and talk to all these guys. And here we are like two little, I always say my mom's like a kitten. It was like you took a little Persian kitten and dumped her in the Diamond District, And so I was trying so hard. I knew I didn't want to buy any diamonds or any watches or anything. So I was trying so hard to just mind my own business. But it was like being at, how like if you're at a carnival or at the fair and the people running the games are like, yelling out at you and trying to get you to throw the ball and stuff. That's how it was. They were like, look at this tennis bracelet. You have beautiful eyes. I love your ring. I love your hair. I mean, it was just, wow. It was quite an experience. My favorite store was the first one we went in. That's where we are here. And it was a dad and his son. And it was just like you'd see on YouTube or one of those reality TV shows, if you've ever watched any of those with them selling watches, and very, very New York, almost like that mafia type feeling, which I love mafia movies. I love watches. I love jewelry. I love diamonds. So I was loving it. Here we are. My dad's wheeling and dealing. And here are my parents talking. I think that might have been the closest he got to maybe trading. But you guys, Rolexes have not come down. They said the one like I have with the Tiffany blue face, she said that's one of the hardest ones to get. And she was telling me how much money I could get for that and all this stuff, way more than I paid because I bought it brand new. And then we walked out and the pigeons were all here eating something. And I took a picture. I told my mom, I said, that is so New York. And then we walked a little ways. Here's some more in the windows. Here's another store that we went in. And then we walked around a little bit. And then even though we had taken an Uber over there, I was like, okay, I can get us back. So we walked back. And that night we ate up at the top floor of the restaurant. And it is called The View. And we actually got there early. And they were not even open yet. So we sat in the bar for a little bit and just had a coffee and a Diet Pepsi. And then they took us to the restaurant and we had prime rib and it was so good. And that is when I discovered the flaked salt. I have never had flaked salt before. I've had coarse ground salt before and I love that. They have that at the Crosby. So now, even this morning, I had flaked salt on my eggs. So my mom and dad actually split a piece and had some other things. So we went back up to the room and we were in for the night. So here we are back up the next morning. This was one of my favorite outfits too. It's the flat front pants. Like I said, I'll put everything down below. My fuzzy cashmere black sweater with the t-shirt underneath, my looks like I have on my Quince boots because they're more comfortable than the YSL ones. Like the Quince boots, more better than sneakers to me. Every morning we headed out of there. I met my parents downstairs at Starbucks so my mom could get her coffee. And then, okay, so here is part of today's story. My friend Tracy always wears these silver Ferragamo ballet flats, and I love them. I love the way she wears them. And you know what? What a coincidence. She's got on the J. Crew brushed cashmere sweater that I just talked about in my J. Crew video, but I don't know which one of those you guys will see first. But I wanted to try those shoes. So I had in my mind, if we went walking around, that I would go into Ferragamo. And so here we are in the cab, headed that way. And they were doing a lot of construction work, and my dad loves trucks and stuff. And so I took a picture of this because I thought it was so pretty. I do love stuff like that. And then today, or this day, we sat in the new little section of the Crosby. It's kind of like an atrium, and it was just so beautiful. So here they are. My mom's got her lily silk cashmere sweater on and her turtleneck, and the atmosphere out here was just beautiful. Look at these chandeliers and these little berries on the table, fresh little greenery every day. And then this is what we got to eat. My dad, this was his favorite breakfast. He ended up getting this 2 times, and that is the bagel with the salmon. And then I gave him my little hash brown, and then I think my mom got, I'm not sure what she got. She might have gotten the vegetarian breakfast. And so here we are eating. Yeah, my dad loved his so much. So before we left out of there, every time we would go down, go to the bathroom, get out of there. So we left there. It was 57 degrees in SoHo. And then that is when we walked next door to J. Crew and walked through there. And I looked at all of this stuff, and I knew I had a J. Crew collaboration coming up for the holiday collection. So I told my mom, I said, I really want some of this stuff, but it might be on my choices that I get to pick from, and it was. So I love synchronicity. I love authenticity. I love living your truest self and how things just kind of come together. That is manifestation. And I love this striped sweater with the matching scarf, that pink coat, the pajamas. I mean, everything. Such good stuff. The bag, the shoes I ended up getting. I love this men's coat too when we were leaving. And so here we are. My mom has taken this picture of she told me she said, you're not in the center. So that's why I moved.
If you want to be centered, you need to move over this way.
Okay.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Then I showed them how I would typically do it when I'm by myself. So I sat the phone up and did my outfit for them to see. And I love just like the buildings in the background and everything. So then we went back to Aritzia because my dad loved the clothes there. He loved the things that I was wearing. And my mom had on her mind one of the triangle cashmere scarves. So we bought a few more things. Then we went and just started walking. We went in Miu Miu and saw a few things in there. I loved this tote, but I didn't end up getting it. And I do really like it. Like, I would use it, but I didn't get it. I don't regret not getting it, but I do like it. And then we went, and this is a place that I sit down a lot and just people watch. We went to Finelli's and sat outside, and they had a cup of coffee, and I had a Diet Coke, and we just talked and spent time together, and, people watched. Then we stopped at this Rolex store, and they actually did have some pre-owned Rolexes, but nothing that he wanted. This one I liked because it has a green face. I love watches with a green face. Then we were headed to Ferragamo. And so we went in there, and I asked the guy, I showed him the picture of Tracy's shoes. And back up a little bit, when we went in the door, because there was only one person working, Nico, they only let us in. And so it was cool. It was like we had the whole store to ourselves. And so right when we walked in the door, I looked over to the left at the belts, and I spotted a belt that caught my eye. But I didn't stop. I went on in and we all looked around. My dad sat down and then we started talking to this guy and he was so nice. Is he from Denmark or I think it was either Denmark or Finland. I can't remember. And I asked him about those shoes that Tracy had. And he says, well, we don't have that style. We have this style. And I ended up liking them even better. So let me show you what I ended up picking out. Okay, so he had them in the silver that I wanted. So these are kind of like a ballet flat and a Mary Jane. And this is what is so beautiful about these shoes. I mean, there's many things that are beautiful. I think it said handmade in Italy. Just you can really tell. Ferragamo too is kind of like old Hollywood to me. I love it. Okay, first of all, the shade of silver that they are is just so pretty. So I got these to wear like today. I've got on my cashmere pants from Aritzia, this little short sleeve brushed cashmere from J. Crew, and I'm going to wear these. Very comfortable. They have like some padding right there, almost like a built-in heel in the back, and very comfortable. And I love like that little Ferragamo symbol right there. And this, the way that the vamp is shaped is just so flattering on the foot. And the other ones, the other style are like that too. But these I love. So I tried on, I knew I wanted the silver, and then I tried on the black, and then I tried on the nude, this little ballet pinky nude, which has the gold hardware. And they're just so sweet and pretty. I walked around in all three colors, and my parents really liked the silver and the nude the best. And I love these. These are going to be good in the summer too, with little dresses and like a whole white outfit. Both of them would be. I'm going to wear them all year round. But I have to say, if they would have had a silver buckle, I don't know if I would have been quite as attracted to them. There's just something about that gold with this ballet pink. And then, since I was already trying on those and getting those, I asked to see the belt that grabbed my attention when we walked in. And my parents love belts too. Matter of fact, I think one of the days I went downstairs and my dad said, let me ask you something. Now, could you have worn a belt with that? Yeah, I could have. But I was trying to just wear the things that I had gotten for the Aritzia video. So that's why I didn't. But you guys, this belt is, I mean, just amazing. Everything about it. And like, I'm going to link, if I can find this one, I will. I don't think I can. But what you'll notice these days, even when you look at Ferragamo belts online, they're all 100. And what they do is they cut it to fit you. Now, when I got one on Rodeo Drive, he cut it and then we paid. But for this one, I had already paid for the shoes. Then I decided to look at this. And so I had to pay for the belt and then he cut it. So let me show you how I had it, because I think, yeah, that day I had on a black sweater. And so I wanted to be able to wear it like this. I wanted to be able to wear it with black pants. And then I also wanted to be able to wear it like this on my waist with a sweater like that. And then where's my little, here it is. But isn't that beautiful? I mean, I just think this is one of those pieces, those elevated basics, those curated pieces that will make a sweater dress, an outfit. Oh my gosh, the sun just went down and I did not bring a light down here. So hopefully you can see me. And then I have had all this stuff sitting here to wait to show you guys. So now I get to wear it. And it comes with this little cute little sock that will go over him, but I'll put it in my new belt, my belt organizer. Okay, and then you know that me coming back from New York without a bag is kind of rare, but I really have just enjoyed using the bags that I have and then, wanting to use more bags that I have. So I really was not on the hunt for a new bag at all. And I already have a Ferragamo hug bag that I got last year in New York when John and I went. That is that large, just beautiful, chocolatey, plummy suede. And I love it. And it's beautiful. It's really big, but I love it. But I was sitting there and I looked over and I could not believe this bag. I was like, that is so unique. Went over, pulled it down, and then my daddy was locked in on it too. And he said, how much? And I said, "Oh gosh." I said, "I bet it's gonna be about 4,500, 5,500." And I looked, and I can't remember now. It was less than that. Let's see if it has the price in here. It is, I believe it was, he might have had to scan it, but I believe it was 3,500, which is, for this bag, such a good deal, I think. I think it is so unique. It's part of a limited edition collection. I don't think you can get the bag anymore unless you just find it in a boutique. I've seen Ferragamo is having an online sale right now. They have beautiful scarves, and they have like a sweatshirt maybe of this. But why do I like this? Many reasons. Okay, first of all, I love palm trees. Always have. What's another thing I love? Palm tree shadows, which is a weird thing, I know. I even love how there's palm trees all around and how they show through the blinds. I've just always loved, I've taken pictures of, I love the shadow of palm trees. And I thought it was so cool that it's so beachy with the palm trees and city with the colors and the chicness of it and the style of it. Like I just would expect to see palm trees on a Dior book tote or something like that. I just didn't expect to see it on something like this. So yay, now I get to start using it because I've been waiting to show you guys. And, it has the feet. So it is, I guess, like a tote. It's a hug bag, hug tote, but I love it. It's really cool too because it's kind of like that bluey gray, almost like a newspaper print. Gosh, I love black and white photos. Even in my room, it just fits the whole vibe. I love it. Okay, so we leave there. And my dad said, "Where are we going now?" And I'm, constantly asking him, "Are you okay?" But he was enjoying it. And so we walked by this window, and they had this was an art place, and it had a huge Chanel flat bag. I on purpose took a picture of this with the guy behind it so you could see how big these were. I just thought they were so pretty. And then we walked into the Celine store, and there was actually a queue at the Celine store where you had to wait, because if there's only like 2 sales associates, then they'll only let 2 sets of people in. And so that was something new for my dad. He had never experienced being queued. And so another couple came up, and they didn't want to wait. And that will come into play further in the conversation. But the thing I wanted to look at Celine, and I've got all these boxes sitting here waiting to open with you, was we have been watching The Morning Show with Jennifer Aniston. And it's a pretty show. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy her fashion. And she wears a lot of Celine. And one of the things that she wears is a Celine belt. So I went in there to get a Celine belt and ended up picking up a few other things. Let's go through my pictures real quick too. Okay, this bomber, oh my gosh. I was so glad that bomber was not my size. It was too small. I wanted it. And I loved that scarf that's on it. It's not like a full-on scarf. It's like a bandana type scarf that's real easy to wear. I took pictures of this. I was showing my mom. I've always loved columns and architecture. I remember studying that in school and doing all the different types of Roman columns. Here my dad is sitting at the end of where we were shopping. And okay, so here is what I got. I asked her to see the scarves, and I liked them, but I didn't like any of them as much as that one that I saw on that bomber jacket. And so let's see what this is. It's going to be kind of like, I can't believe it. That was lucky. So here is the scarf that I got. And it is, you see, it's kind of, it's not really like a bandana, but it is smaller than the great big ones. And that way you can do it very easily on your bomber jacket or whatever like that. Ooh, I'm so glad I got this out. See, these are the things that stress me out, is taking this little tag off. That's why I got the seam ripper, so I can get right in there and take this off. But, oh, I just love it. Love it. Love the colors, everything. And then let's see what this is in the next box. Okay, this feels kind of heavy. So I'm thinking this might be the belt that I got. And I could have gotten, yep, gosh, this is working out. They have all these belts that are reversible that you can just pick your buckle and then pick your belt. And she says, "Well, do you necessarily want the reversible? I said, no. She says, oh, well, let's just, and she took me over and we just chose this one, which is the classic Triumph belt. And I did, and I do love the just classic black and gold. I don't know if it's box leather, but it looks like box leather. The bags, let me see if I can untape this and take it out. And I just think this is so pretty. And I have been studying a little bit more of the history of Celine. I did not realize Celine has been around as long as it has. And oh my gosh. I forgot how pretty this is. So this is the one that I chose that has kind of like, here again, you like what you like. It's not patent leather, but I would say that's box leather. And I always get size, I don't know if it says it on here, but I get, yeah, size 85. That is the size that fits me with like lower rise pants, but we've got a hole puncher that if I need it to add extra holes to wear around my waist. So love this, love it. And so this will go with my belt collection too over here. And it comes with a nice bag and box and all of those things. And then we had fun at Celine. I could have had a lot more fun, but I had to call it a day. Okay, wowza. Wow. Look at this. Now that is one heck of a sunglasses case. Are they in here? Wow. Wow, they're flat. These are very, very, I think they sell these every year and very, very classic, which you'll notice when I first start to get into a designer, that's what I like, or they're very classic pieces. Then I can kind of get more into the unusual, but I just thought these were so pretty. They're the sunglasses, the gold. You can get them in silver too. You can get them in this oval or a more rounded eye. I love the sides, that whole triomphe on that. And these are brand new, so I'll probably, gosh, I don't even have to adjust them. Just very, very chic. Love them. Wow, they feel so good. They feel so good. Okay. Wow, I love those. And then I had no idea it came with this. So this is kind of like almost like a crossbody little place to put your sunglasses. And then last but not least, purchases for the day. The couple that came up and they were waiting in line, and then they decided to go over to, I think Gentle Monster or a sunglasses place was across the street. They went over there and then they came back, and when they were walking around, I had noticed her Celine hat, but then when I saw it again, I asked the lady, I said, do you have that hat? And they did. So she brought me the small and the medium. So I put on the small and I thought, well, if it has that, what makes it a small or a medium? And she said, it's the way that it even fits, down to your ear. So I ended up getting the medium and I wore it home. You'll see. And I love, God, it's one of those hats that just feels good on your head. And I feel like I'll be able to wear it a lot. And yeah, I would rather always take a hat or just buy a hat rather than getting a blowout. Blowouts cost too much money. I think that's another thing that I'm cheap about that some people aren't. I feel like they cost too much money and they take too much time away from a vacation, in my opinion. I do not want to have to stop to get a blowout. Okay, so we went back to the hotel and we ate at the prime rib place again that second night. So the first night we really didn't have dinner. The second night we ate at the View. I made a reservation for the third night because it gets really busy in there because people are going to the shows. And then we went back to our rooms and I needed to make some returns or exchanges to Sephora. So I went back down, and that is when I met this girl at the Armani counter and had a good little shopping trip. And then this is when I walked out, this is Times Square. And it was just like, I just sat there for a minute and I thought, wow, I mean, just look at all these people. It felt so good outside. I don't know if I checked the weather, but it felt so good outside. And there was even some little tables like right there in front of me that I could have sat down and just people watched a little bit. But I thought, Lisa, you better get your butt right on back into the hotel, take a shower and all that stuff. So, okay, so here is my haul for the second day that I went. And then, okay, yeah, at, let's see, 9:06, it was 60 degrees in Times Square. These are the shoes. Oh, I did take my Saint Laurent loafers. I wonder, oh, okay, you'll see I wore those home. This is all the jewelry I took. I took my Rolex and my earrings that I have on today, my Ideal Diamonds, and my tiger ring. I forgot to put a ring on. I was running all around getting ready for this video and forgot to put a ring on. And then here we are the next day heading out. Our flight wasn't until the afternoon. So what we did is we got ready early. Let's see what time it is, 8:12. My checkout time wasn't until, I don't know, 11 or 12. But I called ahead to the Crosby and I knew the girl at the desk. And I said, is it okay if we come there for breakfast? And then you guys can hold our bags. So it's just 3 bags. We eat breakfast there and then we can go from there to the airport. So that's what we did. So I do have on the gray effortless pants in the gray marl with my loafers on. That is another pair of shoes. They're in my main closet. Just so comfortable. You will never regret those shoes. Never. I'm wearing the Dove coat again with the white t-shirt, the gray pants. Times Square here at 8:22 is 48 degrees. Oh, this is our 3rd time eating at the Crosby. No regrets. We love it. And I forgot to take a picture of what we were eating until everybody was finished. It was so funny. And then here we are. We always went to the bathroom. Their bathrooms are beautiful before we left. And I'm wearing my hat, my Gucci bag. Here's my parents standing outside waiting for me. And they just look so cute. My dad's like taking it all in. A lot of dogs and stuff walk by here too. And then here we are at the airport. Okay, you guys, I hate to even go into the airport story. We were at the airport from, let's see, here we are sitting down at 12:18. And this was right during the middle of the government shutdown. And I was thinking, okay, to be sure, Will had already been texting me. I'm worried you're not going to be able to come home. The flights are getting canceled. And I said, don't worry. I said, we just have one flight. It should be fine. Well, we got delayed. I think we got delayed 3 or 4 times. And I got so scared. I was like, Lord, please, please don't let us have to go get our luggage, find a hotel room, and come back here again tomorrow. And here's my parents. They're so cute. I'm showing them my lip liner, and they're looking at it. And then here they are walking to go get, this is funny. My dad had gotten Will a pretzel. Will loves the Aunt Anne's just salt pretzels. And we sat there so long, my daddy ate it. So they're going back to get another one and some coffee. So here we are flying. We finally got out of there. I don't know what time our flight finally took off. It was like 6 something and we were supposed to leave at 2, something like that. It was a long day in the airport. And John picked us up and we had a good flight home. And the girl told us on the flight that we were the last one. They had canceled the rest and 4 pages of flights. And I was showing my parents this last weekend. When I got off the plane, I sent a message or Tracy messaged me and said, how was your flight? And I sent her this picture of my fingernails. I had picked off every bit of my nail polish because my nerves were shot. It was so crazy. It was just, I don't know, like what big deal if we had to go get our luggage and find another hotel. But we were all ready to come home, when you've already been sitting there that long, and I felt sorry for them. So that is our story of New York. Not a hitch, not a glitch, just everything. Like we thought about going to Chelsea Market, but my parents have been to all those places. I have been to all those places. We mainly just wanted to that's where I get it from. We just wanted to be there. We didn't, my friend Kelly had said, I can help you get a food tour. I can help you get we thought we wanted to go to Chinatown, but then we just kind of enjoyed being together, enjoyed being there. And I loved it. I loved it. One of my all-time best trips. So thank you for being here with me. Gosh, you're with me all the time. You're with me in spirit all the time. Thank you to my parents for going with me and for us having that memory. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.